However, I know from experience that when life hits, it usually comes all at once without warning. To do this, you first need to list out your core expenses. These are things like your groceries, rent, utilities, transportation, and any essential services like your internet connection, which you might need for work, not for Netflix. All of those things combined should give you a total. That number is called your monthly baseline. Let's say that adds up to $1,500 per month. Now take that number and multiply it by 5 months. This will equal the ideal stability fund that you should be aiming to save. So in this example, that should be $7,500. So each month when you get your paycheck, 15% of your wages should be going towards building up this figure. You might be thinking this is quite extreme, and I admit it is on the more cautious side. However, I know from experience that when life hits, it usually comes all at once without warning. So if you only have a couple of months saved up, then you won't be as bulletproof. Now that you've worked out your stability fund, don't make the mistake of parking it in the wrong place, because where you store this money is just as important as having it in the first place. Firstly, it must be easy to access. This money should be available within 24 hours max, so don't lock it up in some account that penalises you for withdrawing early, or won't let you touch it for 5 years in return for a bit more interest. I've seen people lose their jobs and still not be able to access their stability fund. That defeats the whole point. When things go wrong, you need speed, not some nonsense waiting period. Secondly, it must be zero risk. This is not money you invest, gamble, or chase returns with. Whatever you do, and I mean whatever you do not put your emergency fund into the stock market, not even the safe stuff, because when an emergency hits, the market might be down. The same goes for crypto, long-term bonds, or anything else that's meant to grow over years. Thirdly, it must always earn. Although this isn't your growth pot, that doesn't mean it should sit in a dead-end account doing nothing. You want it somewhere that earns a bit while it waits without any risk. This is because if you leave it somewhere with zero interest, then it will be eaten away by inflation as money gets less valuable over time. That's where high-yield savings accounts come in. As of filming this video, you can get savings accounts with 4 to 5% interest rates and with no penalties if you need to dip into it. I'll leave some banks in the description. I'd recommend checking out SoFi, Ally, and Marcus by Goldman Sachs, as they're offering decent rates and they're FDIC insured, so your money's safe.